Okay, well, maybe why don't we veer into some of the specifics of some of your work? Maybe there's some things you could teach us, some little free lessons you could provide,
Hmm.
perhaps. What is it, do you think, either men or women or both together, what is it that we're usually doing wrong when it comes to sex? Or in contrast, what are we doing right most of the time?
Yeah. I'll start with what we're usually doing wrong. I'll
Okay.
start there. It's such a great question. I think one of the biggest things that I see people, and I don't necessarily like using the terms like right or wrong, but it's more like
Mm,
what are the places where we really need to improve. And I would say like the biggest place that people need to improve on is their communication. And
mm,
our communication and our ability to communicate in a vulnerable, authentic, honest way when it comes to sex and when it comes to relating. I think for so many people, there is such blockages and challenge for a variety of different reasons. Oftentimes, fear of how our truth and what is real for us will be received. There's that fear there. There's also, a fear of being vulnerable and being hurt or not being seen or not being heard. Um, and so, what this manifests as is people just not communicating altogether or communicating in a vague way or expecting their lovers or partners to read their minds. And what happens here when we don't communicate and we have this expectation of people should just know what we need, people should just know that I don't like that, people should just know that they should be able to pick up on this or pick up on that,
mm,
where I think something that a lot of people are really crap at is actually saying it how it is and actually honoring what is true for them and being forward and clear and sometimes direct when needed as well. Um, and I also think, in saying that, I think there is a lack of skill surrounding communication. So people will try and communicate, but there's like a
mm,
lack of artfulness and there's a lack of creativity and there's a lack of integration with their communication. So rather than communicating from a place of, hey, like, here's my desires, here's my heart, this is what I'm needing, it can often come from a place of like criticism, resentfulness, judgment. The way I describe it is we can communicate in a really open way and we can also communicate in a really closed way. So I think
mm.
that is one of the big pieces that I think everyone can always work on, and it's something that I'm still working on. I think it's communicating is something we will continually develop as a skill, and it is essential in our sexual experiences and relationships. It is communication is a pillar for us to be able to build safety, for us to be able to express our needs, our desires, our boundaries. It's
Mm.
a it's the pillar for us to be able to really create experiences and sexual experiences that deeply nourish us. It's like the bridge between what's in here and what's in here and what's in our bodies, and actually bringing that forward so another person can see it and feel it and respond and take it on. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, the communication one certainly, okay, and communication comes in many forms, right, as well.
It does.
Verbally, through body language, through gestures, signals, all kinds of things. And like the spoken word in the bedroom is can be a bit of an interesting one in that, particularly perhaps in maybe in a casual setting where you're less familiar, it with someone, it almost feels like like a break in the process, in the momentum, right?
Yeah.
Like to stop and just almost and then to like to make a statement about
Mhm.
something. It feels a little strange, I think. It can be for some people a little bit abrupt, a little bit awkward. Um, so
Mm.
how would you go about suggesting we best communicate with each other?
Yeah.
Perhaps beginning in a casual circumstance, say like in a something that's very just short, a single, like an affair type thing, like just a one night stand when we don't have the
Casual
time and the
hookup.
context and yeah, and the Don't know why I said affair then instead of just a hookup, buddy. I'm not sure
Fair, how naughty,
what
how scandalous.
what decade we're in our lives. But yeah, I think you get what I mean. In those sort of briefer contexts where you don't have perhaps the room so much outside of the bedroom to communicate as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think I think when we're in casual experiences, hopefully there is a conversation that is occurring before the casual experience takes place, if it's with someone new in particular, because there are some really important things that lay the foundations for great casual sex. And this really comes down to like building, how can we create a container of safety and trust with someone that we don't know super well? And that again comes down to communication.
Mm.
My suggestion here is weaving throughout, likely there's going to be some sort of interaction with the casual hookup. Say you have a meal together or you're, in a cab ride home together. In that conversation, there's a beautiful tool that we can use. It's the RBDSM communication technique. R
Hmm.
stands for relationships, B stands for boundaries, D stands for desires, S stands for sexual health, and M stands for meaning. So this is a framework that we can use and adapt in conversation with new lovers. So we can very
Mm.
gracefully say, oh, if we're wanting to touch on
Tick off the list on the cab ride home.
yeah, we can gracefully move our way through this and artfully weave things in. But, I think this is a great way for us to really ease anything that is on our mind so we can get out of our head and into our body, even in a casual experience. We have the opportunity to express our boundaries. We have the opportunity to discuss some desires, because casual sex is a great I see it as like an amazing training ground for us to really play and for us to like really explore different archetypes within ourselves and different versions of ourselves, and to really explore our desires. So this framework allows us to kind of almost go through a little checklist and, gracefully weave into our conversations. Oh, do you have any desires you would like to explore together tonight? Is there anything that you're really wanting? Is there anything that's a
Mm.
no-go for you? Oh, that's a no-go for you. These are my things that are a no-go for me. Um, oh, and while we're on that, sexual health. When was the last time you got tested? Is there anything I need to know about your sexual health? Here's the last time I got
Mm.
tested. Are we using a condom? Being able to just kind of like go through this framework, relationship. What's your relationship status? Are you poly? Are you monogamous? Are you seeing anyone else? Is anyone going to be impacted by our kind of interaction? And that's not me saying that you need to like sit there like an interview with your little like checklist and like go through. Like we can gracefully weave these questions into an evening with a person, and by the end of the night, you're actually feeling more connected, more safe, and really sure and clear surrounding the nature of the container that you're going to enter into with this person. You can get out of your head and you can get into your body, because they got tested last week and their results came back all clear.
Mm.
That they don't have a wife and 14 children and like a whole world waiting for them at home, right? Like it's just a way for us to, yeah, really kind of nut out some of those things. In terms of the checking in during sex in a casual relationship or a casual situation, this is the uncomfortable thing about sex. Sex is awkward at times. Sex is
Mm.
going to be, there are going to be moments in sex that aren't the perfect, fluid, oh my God, everyone knows exactly what they're doing. And like, especially with new partners, there's going to be
Mm.
moments where there is awkwardness and there is stumbles. And I think the more that we can embrace that the nature of sex as being an imperfect thing, the more relaxed we become around like both giving and receiving feedback and being able to move forward and kind of take it in our stride, right?
Mm.
Like we don't want to be in experiences where we're pushing through pain, discomfort, pretending, faking, acting as if we like something when we actually really don't.
Mm.
So as to not, disturb or like create awkwardness, right? It's like I would
Mm.
personally much rather have a moment of awkwardness that lasts 30 seconds than half an hour of crap sex. But
Mm.
that's just um, so I think the more we can embrace these, little moments of rupture in our sexual experiences, the better sex we're ultimately going to have as well. And I think that's the something that we've, really been we aren't shown in movies, in television, in pornography. We're not shown the awkward moments. We're not shown the little check-in-y moments where people are like, "Hey, are you enjoying that?" Actually, no, I'm not. Can you try this instead?
Hmm.
All of these things, yeah, I think all of these things, when we start to embrace um, the fact that sex doesn't have to be perfect, the more fun we have and the
Mm.
better sex becomes.